Hey, what's up everyone? This is SnackBox. Hope you all are having a great Sunday. Guys, I broke my own personal best in terms of trials, and I did a few adjustments and tweaks with the gear, and I'm gonna show you exactly what I did. So let's get to it. There we go, 16 trials. I almost completed 18 trials, which was pretty amazing to me. It's one of the trials on the RAM form, I think trials number 2, that I couldn't complete. It's the hard one from the trials number 2 on the RAM form, where you have to deal 500,000 damage, if I remember correctly, with one single skill. But enemy max HP hits, they don't count. So I was trying to do it with his A2, but my gear is just not good enough. Maybe if I would put him in a at least 6-piece merciless set, because as you can see here, I have him in a lethal set, 4 pieces of merciless and 1 pinpoint piece, so he gets a little bit more accuracy. But yeah, if I would get that 6-piece merciless bonus with the 10% more death ignore, that would probably help a lot to deal that 500,000 damage. Also get his crit damage a little bit higher, a higher blessing and stuff like that. So it's definitely possible to get 18 trials done. So the most important trials I'm always targeting are the ones that reward mythical ocular masses, right? Because I want to get those 100 mythical crafting materials so I can get that guaranteed legendary, or maybe even a mythical. There's a 20% chance. That's why I always try to complete those trials. Primarily, I'm focusing on the ones that reward mythic crafting materials, but every other trial that I can complete, I'm gonna take too. So on the ramp form, we actually completed a total amount of 4 trials, and we almost did 5. We completed the easy one, we got the normal one, and the hard one can be completed if you deal 500,000 damage or more while the Chimera has weaken and decrease defense on, but it will not count damage from counterattacks or skills that scale based on enemy max HP. And in order to deal 500,000 damage with a Gnut, you need really good gear on him. And I think with a merciless 6-piece bonus and a little bit more crit damage than what I had, maybe I could have done it. I will definitely try next time. But yeah, here I missed out on like 2 of 10 mythical crafting material. I ended up getting only 5 out of 10. But yeah, with this team, you are actually able to get all of them. I only managed to get 5 because, as I said, my gear is not good enough. But if your gear is good enough, you can get all 10 mythic crafting materials. On the lion form, I completed 5 trials in total, but there's also only 3 mythical crafting materials you can get out of the lion form here. So we completed the easy one from trials number 1, easy, normal, and hard from trials number 2, and that's where you get the mythical crafting materials. So we got those 3 out of here, and then the easy one on trials number 3. These mythic crafting materials right here in the line form are probably the easiest ones to grab. Then on the Viper form, we completed 7 trials, and you can get a total amount of 5 mythical crafting materials out of the Viper form, as you can see here on the trials number 2. From the trials number 1, we completed easy, normal, and hard. So we got all of those. From the trials number 2, we only completed easy and normal. And the problem here was basically that I took too many turns to complete the easy one. I think the best way to do this is actually to complete the easy one in the first cycle, and then you have another full cycle to keep all your champions alive, and then successfully revive your allies. But the problem is that you have to let them die. One of your revive attempts is going to get denied. Now with Arbais and Siphi, it might be possible because of the revive on death and Siphi's revive. I think there is a way to do this. I didn't even get the chance to try it because my champions didn't die, right? By the time I completed the normal trial, the fight was basically almost over. It took me like the first cycle of the Viper form and then 1 or 2 turns of the second cycle to complete the easy trial here from trials number 2. So that way I only had time to complete the normal trial. By the time I completed the normal trial, it was like the last turn of the Viper form and I just didn't have enough time. So yeah, I guess I have to complete the easy trial faster to make sure I can, let one of my champions die or a couple of them and then revive them. So that was basically the problem here and why I couldn't complete the hard trial and I missed out on those 3 mythical crafting materials as well. But technically it is possible to do it. I guess you just gotta be fast enough to complete the easy one so you have enough time for the normal and the hard one. From the trials number 3, we completed the easy and the normal one, and we are just not able to complete the hard one from the trials number 3 because we don't have the buffs and debuffs. So yeah, I actually did this in my first try. Like I didn't run Chimera for like hours and hours to try to complete the maximum amount of trials. I just did it once and that was the result of it, and I'm actually pretty happy about it. 16 trials is my personal best so far, and it makes me happy to know that I can complete even 2 more with this team because I was really close to doing so. So yeah, I'm looking forward to improve my gear on Gnut and maybe get my champions faster so I can, complete the full 18 trials. Hey there, do you want to save money? I got you. If you run Raid Shadow Legends on Aptoide, you will get up to 20% cash back on every purchase. On top of that, you can use my personal promo code SNACK5 to get an additional 5% bonus. Spend smarter, not harder. Also, if you enjoy the content, please subscribe to the channel, and while you're at it, also leave a thumbs up. And now let's get back to the video. Now, here are the builds for these champions. So I have my Arbais in basically the fastest gear I have, with a decent amount of accuracy, 412 accuracy, and that is totally fine for the Nightmare difficulty. Arbais is completely booked and has basically just arena masteries. Nothing crazy going on here for the Chimera. But Gnut is actually pretty interesting with the gear I had on him. I had the 4-piece Merciless, as I said, and the 4-piece Lethal set on him. Also 1 piece of Pinpoint to get his accuracy up a little bit. As you can see, 332 is not really enough, but with the increased accuracy buff from Arbais, I was able to place debuffs, which was pretty important because I'm using the Coronet and Nature's Wrath on him, so it's pretty mandatory to place the debuffs and to ramp his damage up. So he was sitting at 5.4k defense, 285 speed, a little bit over 100% crit rate, 250 for crit damage, and I would love to get this up a little bit with a higher blessing. That would help, or just better gear in general. As I said, I used the Coronet on him, a 4-star Coronet, which is pretty important, so he can deal more damage. He also gets a little bit of accuracy from this relic, like 28 is not that much, but definitely helps. So he would sit at like 350 accuracy, and this was definitely better. And as I said, I'm using Nature's Wrath on him. It's only a 3-star blessing, but still 8% damage is still good enough. And I think it's pretty helpful. And then I'm using Master Hexer and Giant Slayer on him. For Fahrakin, I was using a 4-piece Merciless set bonus and a Reflex set. And there's a lot of skill cooldown reduction going on, which is pretty important because we need to place enough poisons on the Viper form as fast as possible. Actually, this is not the set that I was using on him in this Chimera. run. Yeah, this is actually the one. So we were sitting at 289 speed, and I would love to get this up by 20 speed, something like that. 463 accuracy is definitely enough to place debuffs, and I think some of his gear is not even glyphed yet. I will definitely work on that, and then maybe I can complete the trials on the Viper form faster and place the poisons faster, which is kind of like the most important thing. But yeah, these are the stats basically that I used on him for this run. I have no relic on him. I'm not so sure which one I could use, but there are definitely some options. Also, I noticed I have commanding presence on him. I don't know why, but I could definitely change that to something like cruelty, and that way deal a little bit more damage. But yeah, as I said, this skill places 2 poison debuffs, and on the Viper form, the trials number 2, which we need to complete to get the mythical crafting materials, we need to deal 250,000 damage with poisons, and you only deal like 25k per poison debuff, and every time the Viper form gets a turn, it removes all the poison debuffs. So you want to get as many poisons out as fast as possible to complete the trial as fast as possible. So it took me like 1 or 2 turns too long to complete it, and that's why I couldn't grab the last reward of the trial chain. But with more speed and maybe more luck on the skill cooldown reduction from the sets, it's definitely possible in my opinion. On his masteries, I could probably also go with War Master now that he has enough accuracy, especially for the Nightmare difficulty. But I'm running Master Hexa and Lasting Gifts, and I wouldn't change that at all. I would probably go for the offense tree instead of the defense tree and just go with War Master and keep Lasting Gifts and Master Hexa. My Siphi is in a 9-piece protection set. Was for that run, and these are the stats. 371 speed, that's basically all I'm aiming for. I have 400 resistance with the protection set. This is a nice byproduct. 76k HP and 4.5k defense, but the speed is basically what I've focused on the most. I run the Journal of Necrotos for a little bit more heal and turn meter boost. Completely booked Intimidating Presence, but that's just arena stuff with the masteries and blessings. Same thing for Arbais. And then I had my Lydia in a feral set, in a 9-piece feral set. This definitely helps to boost the damage of Gnut a little bit. For every debuff placed by Lydia, the allies will deal 5% more damage. So she places poison sensitivity, block buffs, fear on the ramp form, for example, decrease defense, weaken. So that's 5 buffs, and then block active skills on the Viper form. And she can place Brimstone, which also counts towards the feral set bonus. So yeah, a lot of extra damage that is going on here, but I haven't really changed anything on her build. This is basically the build that I use on her for everything. Hydra, Chimera, Ultra Nightmare, Nightmare, doesn't matter. This is the build that I use. 294 speed, 62k HP, 5.4k defense, 521 accuracy for Nightmare. Is a little bit too much. You can definitely go lower, but that's what I'm aiming for when I want to go for Ultra Nightmare. So if you're planning on building Lydia for Nightmare difficulty and lower, you can definitely lower the accuracy as well. I have no relic on her. And Brimstone, as I said, because first of all, it gives extra damage on the Chimera run, and also to your allies because of the 9-piece feral set. And then I have War Master on her, Lasting Gifts, and Master Hexa. So here you can see the actual run. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. I started recording at turn 20. That's right at the end of the line form, but the line form is not that interesting. It's pretty easy to complete all the trials. And here's the Viper form. So as you can see, as soon as we enter the Viper form, we get all these poisons on our champions. And the first thing I do with Lydia is to put that block active skills and the poison sensitivity on the Viper form, because for one, we don't want the Viper form to use any skills, and we need the poison sensitivity to complete the easy trial from trials number 2. So we need the poison sensitivity and we need the poisons from Fahrakin. And while doing that, I'm also trying to maintain as much damage as possible. The one thing you need to pay attention to is to not fill up the debuff bar too much in case Fahrakin procs the skill cooldown reduction, so you can place another 2 poisons, right? So you always want to have 2 debuff slots open at least. So there we go with Fahrakin placing the 2 poisons, and as you can see, we decreased his cooldown, I think, with the Merciless set, so just by 1 turn, but still it helps. And here you can actually see it, 1 turn of 2 poisons does 50k damage, but we need a total amount of 250k. That means if I would only place 2 poisons every turn, it would take me 5 turns. But what I'm trying to do with the Reflex set and the Merciless set on Fahrakin is to decrease the cooldown of that poison skill to get out maybe 4 poisons in 1 turn, at least once. And that would save me 1 turn. And if it would have happened in this case right here, maybe I would have completed this poison trial in the first cycle, and then I had enough time in the second cycle to complete the normal and the hard one. But the way it went in this round was that I ended up with like 200,000 damage instead of 250k in the first cycle, and I had to deal another 50k in the second cycle, and I missed out on 1 turn basically, which is very important to be able to complete all of the trials. So yeah, here you can actually see it, 150k damage. It's turn 29, and we have 2 poisons on the Viper form, so now it took another turn, and now we got 200,000 damage. We're at the last turn. That means the Viper form is not going to take any poison damage anymore before it swaps back to the ultimate form, and yeah, I pretty much missed it by 1 turn. Then here on the ramp form, this is also the other trial that I missed with the mythical crafting materials, where you have to damage the Chimera with a single skill while it is under weaken, decrease defense, and it will not count damage from counterattacks or skills that scale based on enemy max HP. So in this case, with the team I use, I have to deal it with Gnut's A2, and I just couldn't do it. Doesn't matter how many protected buffs I had on from Siphi, how many debuffs I put on the Chimera with Lydia, I just couldn't deal enough damage, and it didn't work. So I have to improve the gear on my Gnut, get more crit damage, use the 6-piece Merciless for more defense ignore, and then maybe I can do it, and I will definitely try it next time. But yeah, in the end, I'm pretty happy with the outcome of this. 16 trials is definitely the best I ever did, and I think I can even do better. That's the great thing about this and what I'm looking forward to. I was really close to completing 17 trials, even 18, and I think I can do it with, better gear. Maybe if I glyph my speed a little bit, get a 6-piece Merciless set on Gnut, a higher blessing. But yeah, 116 million damage, 16 trials. The damage is not so great, but on Nightmare difficulty, I'm focusing more on trials, and on the Ultra Nightmare difficulty, I'm going for more damage to balance it out. I'm always trying to hit like 4 billion Clash points so I can complete the Clash rewards in a time span of 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks, I get the 8 billion Clash points to collect the gemstones from the Clash rewards. But yeah, overall, pretty happy. Lydia actually did a lot of damage with the Brimstone and War Master, so that is pretty cool, actually. Fahrakin also did a great job with poisons and HP burns. Siphi actually almost caught up to Fahrakin, even though she doesn't really place any debuffs or isn't there to deal damage, so that is amazing too. As well as Arbais, also around the same area as Siphi. If I would give Arbais, Siphi, and Fahrakin War Master, my damage would be even higher, maybe by like 4 million, I guess, something like that. But yeah, pretty amazing, to be honest. 16 trials, my new personal best. And here you can actually see the rewards I got from this run. So I got a total amount of 74 rare materials, which is quite high to be honest. 17 epic, 8 legendary, and 5 mythical ones, 5 out of 10. So I got half of them and almost all of them. It's definitely possible to get all of them with this team in this week. And yeah, I'm pretty happy about those rewards. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it about this video. If you have any questions, leave a comment in the section below. Feel free to ask. I'm always happy to help. Also, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content and leave a thumbs up while you're at it. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed and I hope you learned something, and see you in the next one.